Hello everyone. I've dropped a copy of the Hypermagic Indicator onto the chart here, and I'm going to show you exactly how the indicator works. Well, let me take that off a second so you can actually see what the instructions are in the indicator. So if I have a look, indicator list, that's the one. We've got Hypermagic lines. You've got three inputs. You've got the color, you've got the line width, and you've got the click auto update. I set that to false. So once we say OK, it literally draws itself on the chart. Now you have to get the indicator on the swing that you want, and you can see here this little doji is the likely swing for the swing high. So I'm going to hold my left mouse key down, and I'm going to drag the mouse to the top there. You can see the indicator appears on the chart. So this isn't in the right place because I want to look at the swing. So I'll simply drag that down there by holding my left mouse button down and just using my mouse pad to actually pull it down to where I want it. And then I let go on the button and it automatically snaps into place. Nice thing about this indicator, you don't have to be that precise because it will always draw on the low here and always on the high there. Now, what have we got in front of us? Well, we've got the square, the half a square that we can see, but we haven't got the circle bounding the square. So what we want to do is just, again, holding the left mouse key down, we just drag the indicator out to there. So quite by chance, the chart is wonderfully squared, and you can see that in the red zone you are not meant to do a trade. In the yellow zone you can actually take a short trade, and in the green zone, well, that's okay, you can take your short trade in the green zone. Now this candle here is smack bang on the red yellow zone. So would I take that trade? And the answer is I would take that trade because that's a very, very good setup. We're just on the cusp of what is acceptable. So if you'd been trying to sell here or here or here even, you would have been stopped out a couple of times, then you might have just given up. Well, this indicator combines time. So what happens if we weren't scaled? Well, you would get a diagram that looks something like that, and when you try and pull it down, that looks like an ellipse, not a circle. That tells you that your scaling's wrong. Also, it's a bit hard on the eyes being so small. So simply click your zoom button and rescale it by putting your mouse in the left hand corner of the screen on the scale, and simply hold your left mouse button down. If you push it up, the scale will expand, and if you pull it down, the scale will contract. So what you do is you literally make it so that the circle looks as good as circular to your eye, and then simply left click and hold this line and simply put it down away from price, and then let the mouse button go, and you can see it redraws again. Now this doesn't make any sense, and also it's not squaring, i.e. no matter how I work with this circle here, it's not drawing properly. So that tells you that I have to maybe come back on my scaling, and I have to maybe drag the chart a little bit down. So let's see. So we pull that down again, let it go, and you can see it's actually drawing up there, but we can't get the chart to scale. So very nice example. So it looks like we have to expand the chart again, and I'm simply going to put my left mouse key down, hold it down, and drag this and just let it go. Now you can see that it's actually starting to draw more accurately, but we can't get it exactly on the little square there. We want the circle to actually be on the corner, so that means I have to scale the chart a little bit more. So I just expanded the scale there, and then I simply left mouse button down again, just drag this downwards like this, and you can see it's not quite there, it just needs a small little touch there. So we do the same again, just drop it, a bit fiddly, but you'll get used to it, and it's important that you square the circle. So that's not quite right. So let's see if I overshot on the scaling. So I just push the scaling up a bit, and again you can see I'm dancing between the edge and this point here. Now if you left it there, it's kind of close enough to be squared, but I like it to actually be right on the edge. Now it's a bit fiddly, you have to play with it. That's not, that's good. Now that's good enough for me. I'm quite happy with that, and you can see we've touched the bottom edge of the coloured triangles. Now how do you enter and what do you enter, and how do you decide which point you're going to enter? Well, never enter before the red box has formed. So on the cusp of the red box, yes, you can enter there if you wish. The ideal entry is when you're in the yellow box, so it could be that price just pushes up a little bit more into the yellow box. That doesn't matter. We can account for the fact that we've got a very good zone where the US dollar JPY might make a reversal. If you look, we've got some dotted lines. Now the dotted lines and the square line here are very good for target setting. So if you're an intraday trader, the way you would use it is you would say that's your first take profit. You would then have your next take profit on the line. Now in this case, you'll probably hit that take profit point before you'll probably hit that square before you hit that point. Now that's not always the case, it's just how the indicator actually draws itself. And the other point that I would use as a profit target would be the edge of the circle. So in effect, you've got three potential profit points. And now what about stops? Where do you set your stop? Well, you set your stop above the top of the triangle edge just there, and that is also just above this top as well in this case. So with that sort of setting, you can work out your risk reward, and you can actually establish a very good robust trading strategy based upon the indicator. Now sometimes the indicator doesn't draw like that, so let's find a market where it's been very what would I say, unworkable. So I'm going to put the indicator onto this chart here. So let me get it, Hypermagic line 2, and this is the euro US dollar. I like to use it on the hour chart because I find the hour chart works very well for this. So you can see you've got a really big oval there. That's not right, it doesn't mean anything, so you have to start rescaling your chart. So I'm just dragging the scale down and then I drop that in again, and you see we've gone to a very nice circular shape, just maybe a little bit more, and we can drag that again, just holding the left mouse button down and then releasing it, and we've almost got a perfect circle. Now this chart's quite small, doesn't matter, it's telling you that you don't want to be selling in this area. You want the euro US dollar to rise much further before you attempt to sell. You've also got a couple of things which I'll go back onto the US dollar JPY here, and that is you've also got the midpoint of the circle, which is this point just here, the little blue dot there surrounded by the little dot, white dot surrounded by blue is actually the midpoint of the circle. Sometimes, as long as you're past that, you can still take a sell trade. A little bit more risky, but it will still work. And basically that's it. The indicator is that easy to use. You can also use it for target setting. So if we wanted to know on this swing, if we thought the market was going up, we could actually just drag the indicator down to here, and as you can see we get one of these unruly patterns where the triangles don't line up, and that's telling you that the scaling on the indicator is not correct. So you'd have to play with that scaling to get it right. So I've just reduced the size of the chart there, and I'll just bring the scaling down a little bit, and again all we have to do is click on the indicator there, drag it, and you can see there it's all snapped into place, and that means that it's working. So if I thought this market was going up, I would simply, and I'd taken a sell trade, I'd simply mark my midpoint like that. I'd also put a line on the top edge here. And I would say if this market came down and it came into that area, I would possibly think of closing my short trade if I thought the trend was up. But in this case, I think the trend is down on a US dollar JPY because we have a low here, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high. So I think we should exceed this point and this point. So doing a target setting based upon the fact that the market might be going down is not going to work. But if the market was going up and you had put in a scalp trade at that point there, then this would be a very valid way to calculate your exit point as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you've got any other questions, please email me at helpmetradenow at gmail.com, and I will get back to you as soon as possible to answer any of your questions. I hope you enjoyed this video, and good luck, and we will meet again soon.